Hello and welcome to FPL FaF, the Form and Fixtures podcast. Another week, boys. Welcome, Jason and James.
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Yeah, brilliant to be with you. Well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, this is our first season doing the content, and yeah, this I suppose it was a massive reality check. I really struggled to be motivated to do it this week. It's the first weekend where Arsenal got well and truly beaten. Definitely the beaten by the better team, and it was difficult to watch. And then the fantasy team like taking an absolute nosedive after a wild card as well, 80 points to 39. It was a really tough week, and yeah, we were meant to film on Monday, and I couldn't bring myself to do it, so I forced myself to be ready for the Wednesday. So I'm ready to chat FPL and be better, boys. So. Yeah, we're gonna have a quick rundown of our last game week. Three standout players on form, and well last week. Three players to avoid. Yeah, and then fixtures, long term and short term. Plus at the end, our golden picks and our personal transfers and captaincy. So, yeah, three standout players. Jason, so you're focusing on the attack. Who are your standout players for the week?
Do you want me to do a quick rundown first, or
Oh,
sure?
sorry. Yeah. Already
Yeah,
already skipped a
yeah.
step. Yeah. Quick rundown. Jay, you go
That's
first.
fine. So obviously, wasn't a great week. I finished on 41 points, but it's just the players that you expect to be returning aren't returning. So I'll just quickly go through the team. I had Sanchez, Trent, and James all on 1 point. Cancelo got two. Martinelli got Jesus one, Mitrovic five, and Haaland saving me because he's my captain with 18. So it totaled 41 points, which is it's just frustrating really. But it's one of those things, isn't it? Everyone's struggling having those kind of players in and not returning too much. That's that really. So do you want me to just jump in and do the informs quick? Or do you want to go James for
No, yeah,
that?
go jump to James.
Yeah, I'll run down for me, same as Jay for points. I think a lot of us have had a disappointing just to kick off the week. It sort of set the tone really for the rest of the week. My only wins were Neco Williams with an assist, De Bruyne with 14 points as my captain, which was basically as good as the Haaland I don't have, so I wasn't too punished this week. Kane getting a return was nice again. Stuck with faith for Kane. And then my small win was I was on Twitter before, and some random bloke said, "Oh, from a reliable source, Robbo's been benched." And I saw he had a Liverpool badge on his profile. And I thought, right, this guy might know a little bit. I was meeting with some friends a minute later, so I was like, I'm just going to have to take his word for it. And I benched Robbo for my Neto because I really wanted to play Neto for his final good fixture. And he ended up with, 3 points as opposed to Robbo's one. So I got a small 2-point win from that, which was my highlight of a week, which says a lot, really, doesn't it, about how bad the week was. John.
Yeah, I think it was a tough week for a lot of people. Yeah, I just want to say as well, if anyone watching can see like the internet problems I'm having, like because it was a bit choppy then. Listening to you guys, I'm in a massive storm here, so yeah, internet's failing a little bit, but hopefully it comes out all right. Um, but yeah, I got 39 points. Um, yeah, Haaland scoring again, Mitrovic scoring, glad I own him, and yeah, Nico Williams with an assist, but nowhere near like first half. At half time, I was literally thinking, I can't believe I didn't captain him. I was like, he's gonna get a clean sheet, he's got an assist already. And then I think I fell asleep and then woke up at full times and was like, oh, okay, glad I didn't go for that then. Um, and then yeah, I mean the absolute worst thing was I removed Rashford. Like one,
That's so
oh my
typical.
days,
So
like
typical.
18 points, man. Removed
Classic.
him that game week, and then yeah, new goalie, same issues, 1 point. Just pretty much all round nothing. Yeah, nothing to think about. And
Brutal
I'm
on the
still
wild card.
glad I pulled my wild card, but
Mm.
yeah, I feel like I shouldn't be glad. Anyway, yeah, moving on. So three standout players. Yeah, go on, Jay. You start. So you're going to be covering the attackers this week.
Yeah, so obviously Haaland shout out again, Mitrovic again returning, and Ivan Toney as well. So they're the three really, I think, in attack. There's a couple others you could be praised a bit, but they're the main three at the moment, personally.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You go on, Jay.
I was just going to say, I was just going to do my voice, but I'll do that after if you want.
Yeah, go on, Jay.
My midfielders, yeah.
Yeah.
So midfielders, I mean, I've got to give my Brighton boys a mention. Like, I could have mentioned the whole of their midfield. Like, McAllister's probably the standout from that performance against Leicester, and he's on penalties. I mean, he looked in the form of his life in that game. I'd still personally trust the Trossard the most for consistency, and then Gross for set pieces. Solly March's underlying data has been incredible, but there's a reason why he's got good underlying data but no points, because the lad just can't finish, unfortunately. So I would stay clear of him. But yeah, Brighton midfielders in general is kind of a whole category in itself. But McAllister's probably the one that's proven himself the most lately. Rashford, like you've mentioned, John, it'd be rude to not mention him. Man United have some reasonable fixtures coming up soon as well. So yeah, they're not like, I don't think they're incredible fixtures, but they've got some good ones. Like there's Leeds, isn't there, in game week 8, which will be a really nice one, even if you had them short term for that or something. So yeah, Rashford's worth a mention. And then I'm going to also say Sinisterra for Leeds. He scored a couple of goals lately. He's looking good. I think he looks like a great shout this week at home to Forest. If anyone wants to take a punt on a Leeds midfielder. So they're my three. And then I wanted to briefly mention De Bruyne and Luis Diaz are kind of players that are consistently coming in with performances. If you wanted someone that's probably quite reliable, to be fair, at a price that's fair. But again, if it's De Bruyne or Haaland, you've got no choice, have you, but to go to Haaland. But I think, yeah, we'll talk about players to avoid in a minute, but Luis Diaz probably links to one of my ones to avoid. Little sneaky clue there.
Wait, so are you saying, did you say shout out to Luis Diaz or shout out?
Yeah, as in like he in a poor Liverpool team, like he was the only guy that scored again tonight in the Champions League for 8.2 million. He's the one that's kind of bringing the fight to that team, I feel, and is getting returns when the others aren't. I don't know. I just thought, even just noticing 4-1 battering tonight against Napoli, it was Diaz that got the goal again. I don't know. I just feel like for his price, if you wanted a Liverpool player, it's him. But yeah, I'll talk a bit more about Liverpool and my players to avoid, to be fair, which will give a bit more of an insight really to where I'm going.
So interesting, to be honest, because I've actually I'm kind of nervous that like maybe like if I don't know what the deal is with Darwin and if he's just an automatic start for Klopp and like just trying to embed that striker into their setup. But I'm kind of scared that Luis Diaz might be the one to get either rested or just dropped. But more not because he's doing a bad job, but more just because Jota, he's got a lot of energy, and I wondered if he might just want that raw energy from Jota on the left. But I don't know what are you thinking, Joe?
I personally, right now, Salah doesn't look interested, in my opinion. If anyone's going to be dropped, it's him. Like tonight, Jota came on for Salah. So was it like 68 minutes or something?
Did that
I
just
don't
not smell
think
of like resting ready for the week though?
That'll be my guess, to be honest.
It could be, but like I feel like Diaz, James, you hit it now on the head. He's the only one in their attack right now that seems to really be trying. Does that make sense? If anything was going to happen tonight, it was through Diaz. He was one, he was clapping when he was closing down and stuff, trying to get the players fired up and stuff. I'd be surprised, but it could be right. But Salah's not really doing anything worthy. And I don't care who you are, what your name is. If you're not performing, you need to be benched. You need to kick out the backside. Someone needs to replace you until you've proven that deserve to start again.
I do want to say on that though, like with Liverpool's upcoming fixtures after Wolves, I would still avoid Liverpool. Like, although I think Diaz is worth a mention with his form, at least compared to everyone else at Liverpool. Yeah, like you, John, I think there is a rotation risk with Jota, and with their fixtures combined with that, although he's doing all right, yeah, I'm still personally avoiding the lad. But I thought he was worth a mention because you said about players that are on form, and yeah, I think he was worth at least a shout out, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah, cheers, Jim. I'm focusing on the defense and goalkeepers. So players to shout out. I mean, it's Pope and Trippier are just every single week at the moment. Like I'm just like, why haven't I got them in? And I'm just like, I've just pulled my wild card, and we even said on the podcast Newcastle are a team to focus on, and I still didn't do it. I was like really focused on Henderson, and and who's the other? Oh yeah, and then I went down from Cancelo to Diaz, but yeah, I'm just a bit baffled that I haven't got either of them in my team, and I'm feeling a lot of pressure that I haven't got one of them. Like probably Pope more for me. I think I was really looking for a keeper, and I'm not really looking for a fourth defender, even though Trippier does look great. But yeah, anyway, both of them were brilliant, and then the third one, Ben Chilwell, mate. 119 minutes. That's all he's played this season. And he is 1 point behind Reece James. I thought he'd be top of their defenders, but 1 point behind Reece James. Like, unbelievable. And what a goal. Like that, the touch on his head, and then the spin, and then the nutmeg. Like, it was literally the thing of a great striker. Like,
instinctive genius.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Like I couldn't believe what I was watching actually. It got me off my seat a bit, like I can't believe this. Like, so yeah, loved it. And I'm really excited. Well, I suppose Tuchel's been sacked now, so who knows? I suppose who knows but I was excited to see what Tuchel was gonna do with Chilwell now, because I was wondering, was it injuries or does he just not fancy him? Because it does feel like last season he had lots of chances to play him and he favoured Alonso over him, and now he's brought in Cucurella. So yeah, interesting to see what this team does with a new manager and whoever that is. So 3 players to avoid. Go on, Jay.
I'll start with, I've got Aubameyang, because Chelsea just look horrendous at the moment, and he certainly didn't do anything to, make me think otherwise. I'm still baffled by that signing, if I'm honest. I don't understand it.
Did you watch the game yesterday?
I watched parts of it, yeah.
Did he not? I heard actually he was quite energetic, but was he? Did he not?
I don't. They just look lackluster. Going just everyone. I just like at the moment. I would just avoid Chelsea attackers and even midfielders. The only one is James, Cucurella, and Chilwell's now giving a shout out. But James, he's trying to get sent off as well. I just don't know what's happening with him. There's something wrong with him. Having Koulibaly and Thiago as centre backs, 2 of the best centre backs in the world, and you're still leaking goals. And I don't know what it is. For me, the team just looks horrific at the moment. Aubameyang for me done nothing. Sterling again. Mount, Havertz. I don't know. There's not like a chemistry there right now for whatever reasons. No idea. I put Havertz as well. I think he's been horrendous so far this season. And then the other avoid I've put was Ronaldo. Ronaldo's being benched. The way that they're playing, now they've got Anthony, you've got Rashford, Alanga, you've got Bruno in that kind of 10 role again. And up front is Martial. Is it Martial? I know Ronaldo comes on, but the younger lot look very energetic and working well between them. So, they're the three that I've personally advised for the
Was your
upcoming
middle one
games.
Havertz as well?
Havertz, yeah.
Oh mate, after he's just scored as well, brutal.
I just don't. I don't rate him at all. I just don't. I don't think saying that new manager might completely change within a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
But just right now, Chelsea just don't look good. Liverpool just don't look good. They're just two teams really to kind of avoid a lot of. I do have Diaz obviously, but I'm quite happy with him at the moment.
Mm. Yeah, I'll keep on the Chelsea theme quickly for midfield. I put Mason Mount down. He didn't even start, did he? One of the couple of the recent games, or at least one of them. But I think he's one to watch with the new manager. Like he's a player that can do so well in FPL, and at his price as well, since he's dropped from 8 mil to about 7.6. Like he's one to watch. I think Chelsea don't have bad fixtures coming up. If they get a manager that gets them going, which, speaking of that, if Potter comes in, I will be devastated as a Brighton fan. And linked to that, I genuinely think you need to be a bit wary with Brighton assets. Like Potter is the reason we're doing so well.
100%.
Yeah, like we've got some good players in there, but like we're overperforming because of Potter.
I said that earlier in a group chat. Like I don't know why anyone's saying that Potter would turn this down, because I think Brighton have got probably one of the worst squads in the Premier League. And I think that stood like 2 seasons ago when like he massively overall, yeah. Just the point is, yeah, I just don't believe your squad is that good, but his system is bloody amazing.
Yeah, I'd say that's the main reason for success. We've got some good players in there, don't get me wrong, and I'm happy with the squad, but I'm happy with the squad because of Potter pulling all the strings and getting the best out of everyone. I'm really worried about us if Potter does go. Like, I don't think about relegation, but in terms of just we run for a really good season, and this would just completely crush us. And I just think quick bonus point with that is, going into Bournemouth, let's say Potter's gone and they've got 2 games to prepare. I'm instantly less confident about going in and battering them. And then the following game week, our game against Palace, which you probably just like to say, Jay, has been postponed. So there's also not going to be a game in game week 8 for Brighton assets.
Yeah.
So one of my avoid/be careful with is Brighton midfielders. Particularly if Potter goes. It's worth a punt against Bournemouth. If Potter stays, I'm still really confident we'll go and smash him. But is that what you're going to say, Jay?
Oh, well, I was going to bring that. I was just going to say, as a Palace fan, Potter going will be fantastic. So I hope he does. I really hope he does. I like Potter. Seems like a really nice guy. I did want him to take over England eventually, but I just want him gone. I do. So just go. I hate Chelsea, but I just don't want to. It's just exciting to see what happens once Potter goes. If he does go. And then I was just going to bring up that the match obviously against us was delayed, so that's something to be mindful of.
Yeah. No, nice. And then the only other two I had down were Salah, as I was kind of hinting at, because if you have him against Wolves, hold him against Wolves, I think. But then after that, they've got difficult fixtures at 13 mil. Like, it's just too much money on a player that's just not looking himself. And then the other player I had was Kulusevski, because he's now getting rotated hard with Richarlison. So I know they're playing Leicester at home in game week 8, but at the moment I just couldn't. You can't bank on Kulusevski starting right now. Same with Perisic.
I was going to say Richarlison scored 2 goals tonight as well, so he's going to be in for starting a run of games. I think the thing is though, Son's still really not doing anything, which again, he's living off last season, in my opinion. Kulusevski has dropped. That first game he had this season was class. Now it hasn't really been the same, but it's probably going to be Kulusevski who is dropped for Richarlison.
Yeah, or at least they'll flick between each other. Son's underlying stats been brilliant. I think it's only a matter of time before he starts firing. But like you say, Jay, if he keeps blanking, he shouldn't be rotation proof. But yeah, at least Richarlison and Kulusevski, I think you've got to be very careful with.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my three to avoid. I mean, the first one is Luke Thomas, -3. Take a bow. Like a yellow card, own goal, concedes 5 goals. Like just can join uh, Ward and just get in the bin. Leicester defense, like I feel it feels like Rodgers just doesn't want to be there anymore. Like I watched James Maddison, they had a great shot. I can't remember what goal it was that went in, but they had a great shot of the ball being fired into the net, and you could just see you had a direct vision of James Maddison watching, and then he just looked absolutely distraught, like, or just not distraught, more like, oh, bloody hell, like another goal, like what are we doing? Like it's just a mess. So yeah, I mean Luke Thomas, but any Leicester defenders, if you're going in for a Leicester defender right now, I would question it. Question yourself, question it. Mendy, again, a third week running. I've mentioned Mendy. This
Absolutely hate the
guy,
guy,
I'm
man.
pretty sure he's still on the floor. I think he's still on the floor from the first goal. Like, did you see that? He lied down like the ball. He was like lying down for ages before the ball actually went in the net. And then the second goal, I'm pretty sure he was just in the same position and Bowen just happened to tread on him. Like, seriously, man, this guy. So yeah, he was dropped yesterday, wasn't he? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Tuchel was the whole reason that he was performing terribly.
Maybe.
And then the third one was Saliba. I don't think this is harsh. 0 points last week and 1 point the week before, and he's quite highly owned. Yeah, for a highly owned asset, I think that's really poor. But I guess you could say 4.5 million. Maybe he's people's bench player. Yeah. Anyway. Um, yeah. So oh, just with that, any talking about like anyone good or anyone to avoid, is anyone you guys feel has been missed in that? I suppose we did cover it quite a lot, but
Ivan Toney, I mean, he smashed it, hasn't he? Like, he's away to Southampton this week. It's not a bad fixture. He's got some decent fixtures in the run of the next, I don't know, sort of short to long term. Well, all the way up until game week 15, he's got overall good fixtures. So he's worth a
really,
mention, someone to consider. Yeah, like they're not like incredible, but
no, yeah,
Brentford's are solid, literally all the way up. They basically were solid all the way for this first period up to the World Cup, other than their game week 16 game, which is against City. So yeah, Tony's worth a look, but I know there's a lot of good striker options around that price point. So it's a case of if he's better than the others, I think. But he's worth a mention still. Definitely worth considering.
yeah. Did you have anyone else, Jay?
I was just going to bring it. Our next part of the podcast was players, teams, or fixtures to look short or long term. Sorry, I was going to bring up. We've spoken about most of them. Toney was one I was going to mention. Brentford look very solid, very organised. And Toney really is making a point for himself. Especially coming up to the World Cup. He's definitely going to be hungry going into that. Well, into the next couple of months. So he's a great shout. I did also want to say Isak is looking good. First game he played, I think he scored 1 goal against Palace. He was put through 1-on-1, but instead of just slotting it past Gaeta, he tried dinking it.
I was so annoyed by that.
Put the ball in the net.
I thought of you, James. I thought of you.
So,
what are you doing?
Yeah, he's both his confidence though, but he could have had 2 goals in 2 games if he just just slotted it. You're through 1-on-1. Ward isn't catching you, but whatever. So Isak is definitely a good shout, I think. Newcastle are looking good, creating a lot of chances and that. And, it'd be interesting to see when Wilson's fit. But I think Isak's definitely starting right now. He's got, kind of everything. He's tall, strong, agile, good eye for goal. Want another shout out to Mitrovic. Every week, I think he's, returning. They've got Chelsea, I think, at the weekend.
Yeah, at home.
Early kickoff as well.
defense, he could be a very good shout.
Mm-hmm.
They're the people. So really the four attackers I went for. Haaland, we've already mentioned him. I know they got Spurs, but has he really disappointed? I think the only game he didn't score, he got an assist. And was that against Bournemouth? Was that right?
Yeah.
Something like that,
yeah. He got 2 hat-tricks in the last 2 games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Spurs is like a negative. Like I don't think their defense has pulled up any trees.
No, definitely not. And I think the first half for Spurs, they don't look good at all. It's the second half of the last few games where they really come alive. So, he's still on to get a return, but any of those 4 really, if you've got them in your team, could even be worth captaining.
Yeah, I mean, James, with your thoughts on fixtures on long term and short term and teams to get on, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so same in Newcastle. Good fixtures. Trippier, Pope, Isak, all good options. Alan St. Maximin could be a nice differential if he comes back and comes back firing. You might even want to chuck him in against home to Bournemouth in game week 8 if you wanted to get ahead of the game. So yeah, Newcastle 100%. Mitrovic, like Jay said, 100%. Like home to Chelsea against a wounded Chelsea of their manager and performances, and then the good fixtures after that. Great shout. I put down Bailey for Villa because he's started a couple of games. He banged in a goal at City. Villa have great fixtures. Even just the fact he's 4.7 million, so you could put him in your team or your wildcard team, and then even if he starts getting benched or whatever, like he's just a bench option. So you don't need to worry about him too much. And if he does bang, then great, you've got him in your team. So I think he's actually a no-brainer, particularly if you were wildcarding like me coming up. And then a couple of extras to mention. I think Maddison's worth the shout because Leicester have great fixtures coming up. Although they're playing awful, they still scored 2 against us. They're still a team that can score goals. Maddison's the main man in their team. And with great fixtures, I think he's almost guaranteed to return, to be honest. And then the final one I wanted to mention is Bowen as a one to watch. West Ham have good fixtures coming up. Bowen, we know what he can do. He's more one to watch as opposed to jump on him now. But he's one to look at, I think, in the coming weeks as West Ham's fixtures get good. He's their main man, right? So don't rule out Bowen.
That's interesting. That's interesting you say about Bailey as well, because when you first said that, I was like, stay away from that troll, man. But I guess like when you put it like that, like I mean, regarding my team, like, I've got Mitrovic now, and I really feel uncomfortable, even though he's probably just going to be my third sub. I feel uncomfortable having Pereira and Mitrovic, because I wouldn't want 2 Fulham players starting. Well, right, even though they've had a really good start, I don't know. There's something about it I just wouldn't like. When for 0.2 million, I could have Bailey as a third sub instead, or even a little bit closer to the starting lineup. But yeah, I guess it's just a nice little differential option for certain good fixtures. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that. But yeah, really interesting calls. I didn't have enough time to really go through my thoughts on the fixtures. I was just gonna kind of bounce off you guys, but I mean, my main thoughts really are just with Newcastle right now. I don't like. I feel really funny at the moment about this, especially this week's up and coming fixtures. But I just don't know what to expect from teams, even like Bournemouth. Like after seeing them come back and win the game 3-2, I'm like, what is going on? Like, yeah, it's just and like the whole Villa thing. Like Villa should have beaten City if that goal had have stood. And then it's like, well, again, what's going on with Villa? What's going on with City? Like, I feel like the whole Premier League's a bit in limbo. We don't really know what to expect. Maybe one of the only concrete things is that Man United's defense all of a sudden looks really bloody bullish and strong. Yeah, I
Until
mean,
Maguire comes on.
yeah. I mean, don't bring Maguire into your team. But yeah, anyway, that can be that kind of covers our our teams to focus on. So we got 5 minutes left, guys. So yeah, let's cover our golden picks, and also share yeah, your transfer plans and captains.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Jay, you go first.
Yeah, so golden pick right now. I think United are looking quite good, solid. Rashford, was it 2 goals and assists? I think he got the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a good shout. Sancho's getting the odd goal and stuff, but I still think where you go for a United attacker, an attack-minded United player, Rashford is looking quite lively at the moment, and Anthony, obviously, very skillful player. He got in good finish. He could be worth a shout. I think he about 7 mil. I think.
Yeah, 7.5, I think.
7.5. Yeah. So, because they are looking good. So I'd probably go for Rashford if I could just pick one right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then just
Also,
regarding
Rashford would be your golden pick for this
that
week.
would be my golden pick. Yeah.
Oh,
personally.
against Palace as well.
I was going to ask that. Yeah. Do you think he'll do well at Palace?
Mate, at the moment, Palace fans hate me, but we're very slow. At the moment, we're playing Klein and Ward. Mitchell did have a slight injury, so he's coming on. Don't know if he'll start. If he's fit, he will. But, Klein and Ward just do not have pace. They just don't, unfortunately. And there's a lot of youth, energy, pace, and trickery. And I just don't like us being attacked down the wings. With Anderson and Gahey, I have so much faith. Those two are solid, right? And Klein and Ward have done well this season, but I just get scared. Like against Newcastle, there were a lot of crosses, corners, everything just coming down the wings, and I just don't like it. I think with Anthony, Rashford, Elanga might start. I don't know. However, Ten Hag would do it, but yeah, Rashford's got a great shout. Personally, I think until we kind of, I want us
quickly,
to.
Jay, what's your captain as well? Sorry, we're running out of time.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I'm going with Haaland again. He hasn't let me down, so I'm just going
Any
to stick with him.
transfers as well?
I bought Trippier back in for Zinchenko because I was annoyed I took Trippier out a couple of weeks ago. So I just had to do that. And, Arsenal coming up, harder few games.
Yeah, they take its turn in 2 weeks. And Everton this week.
Yes. And then, just Trippier. I think Newcastle are looking pretty good at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Nice. My golden pick, I mentioned him earlier, Sinistera. Home to Forest, I could really see him scoring at least one, maybe getting more than a return in that game. Forest are leaky. He's looking good. I really fancy him, actually. I really fancy Toney this week against Leeds, and I didn't go for my gut. So I think I'll be kicking myself. I didn't go for my gut this week. So Sinistera is that one. And then transfer plans, I'm so confused, boys. I won't go into detail because we've got 2 minutes, but I literally don't know what to do. I'm planning a wildcard game week 8. I don't have Haaland, but I'm I can't afford to not have Haaland. I think he'll still score probably 1 or 2 against Spurs because he's just scoring against everyone. I feel like I need to captain him. I don't have him. If I want to get him in and Sinistera in and people like that, then I've got to take some hits. So I'm actually considering a free hit this week, which is rash, I know, but it means I can have a team I'm happy with this week, and then I can wildcard in game week 8 to give myself just a solid sort of platform leading through until the World Cup. But I'm still undecided because I know the free hit could be really useful later in the season with the double fixtures. So yeah, but Haaland captain, if I can get him in my team, is who I'll be captaining.
I'd just say on that, you regretted playing your free hit too early last season.
I know I did. Don't
make the same mistake if you be bold and be confident in it if you're gonna do it, man.
A couple of weeks.
I think there's enough time to take a hit still. You got a whole season ahead to regain that. And it's Haaland. It's worth. If there's one player worth a hit, it's Haaland.
Even just for one game week, but I know you've got a minute, so
yeah. My golden pick is actually, I just don't know who to go for it. I just don't even the to predict the scores, I think is difficult. So I actually went for Son. I think like Son's stats are good, underlying stats are good, and I think if there's one team he's going to do it against, it's against this City defense. He's done it last season. I think he's going to do it again. I think this is going to be the first game we see him. And even though I've got Kulusevski transfers wise, I'm actually going to keep him and just see if he plays in the big game this week. I've been rash with a few moves, so I'm just going to roll my transfer, see if he plays, and then jump on Rashford probably next week. And then Captain Haaland, and we can quickly end. That was FPL FaF. Thanks for watching, guys. Great to be